Welcome back to Redacted Party Chat, Case 15. We are rolling, boys. These are coming fast and hard.
I'm a child. Okay.
Adrian, how are you doing on this fine Friday night?
I'm doing pretty good. It's I know it's crazy to say as an Ohioan, but it's warming up. I work outside, so not below zero to double digits may as well damn near be springtime for me. So I'm actually having a really good day today. So yeah, doing good.
Sweet. Brandon, how about you?
Pretty good. I second what he said. I walked outside and it was 11 degrees. I'm like, man, let me take this Carhartt off. What's going on out here? This is crazy. You felt the same way, Vaughn?
I can taste your lies.
It's still very cold. It's still very cold. But it definitely doesn't hurt, I guess. It was hurting the last few days where it was hitting your face like, wouldn't survive out here.
Oh, yeah. we were on a couple jobs where literally like outside it hurt to breathe. The cold air coming into your lungs was just like a punch to my lungs. But I feel the crystals.
Is that just like the moisture freezing or something? Like what is going on?
Effectively, yeah. The internal temperature of your body is consistent. You're literally just breathing in essentially freezing air, and the inside of your body is like we don't like that. I don't like that. What about you, Vaughn? How are you doing today?
Well, I am also cold, but I finally have that spark back with trophies. Had a little Spider-Man 2 era there for January, but shrugged it off. And I should have Final Fantasy Remake Platinum before the next recording. And potentially Resident Evil 7.
Beautiful.
On the PS5. I didn't have that one when they redid it and put it out for the current systems. So while I practice that run, I should knock that out and be prepared for the next stream.
I'm thinking I might download. Does the just real quick because we're being trophy people for a moment.
I'm always a trophy person.
Yeah. I mean, I try to be. I fall off, and then I also get hyperfixated on games that that hate me. Does the retroactive trophy giving work from PS5 to PS4?
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Well, I thought it does.
There's very, very few that auto pop from 5 to 4. Almost all of them 4 to 5.
Oh, well, then I'm gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a dirty little cheater then, because I downloaded the Resident Evil 8 PS5 version. I think I'm gonna download the PS4 version. That way I could get the PS5 trophies as well once I get the platinum in that game.
The only one that's weird is 7. 7 doesn't auto unlock all of them. You have to go into various saves that you might have and rebeat the game for it to trigger.
Are you doing 8 before the stream?
I think I am. I think I'm gonna run it through just so I can really, because I'm by no means gonna try to like speed run it. I don't know if that's like, I'm sure it is possible. And doing the preemptive runs will let me know.
Hear me out. Don't do that. There's one part I need to see your raw expression on so bad. I need the rawness, but you do what you do. But we're friends. Just remember we're friends. That's all I want you to do. That's all I remember. Just,
This is vague statements. I
don't even understand.
I know what he's doing, but he's just letting the mind work. Let your mind figure it out. Okay, all right. I will take that into consideration. I gotta delete the game and re-download the 4 version anyway. So,
and then I wanted to ask one more thing. With 4, 7, and 8, are we doing DLC? They're not long, but they are story-wise kind of relevant.
I'll say no right now, depending on time frame. If we have time for it before 9, then I don't see why we couldn't. But we also have Redacted Rematch that we want to stream too, so we could fill some of that time up with that.
Yeah, we could talk about it offline, but we also have to take in mind these are the long ones now. So it's
Yeah,
going to
that's
be
tough.
like each of these is probably going to be at a minimum 2 streams. If we're booking it through the game, it's going to be 2 streams a piece. So either multiple streams a week, or we're going to be, cutting it close across the finish line because it is the 30th today.
Yeah, true. Look forward to that, everybody. We're glad you're enjoying that. And speaking of, totally redesigned the link tree. You'll see that QR code in the corner of the screen there. Go ahead and follow us. We added some cool new modules on there. Got a countdown timer for every Saturday stream. And there's also a second page now that has countdowns for the games we're currently excited for. And we will cycle those out as more get announced and get final dates. But check it out. A lot of hard work went into it. Don't make me cry.
I can't
looks
do
great.
First date.
Yeah, it looks great.
Lastly, and not mandatory, but it is there, very bottom of there of the link tree, donations. If you would like to donate to the cause, all that's going to go back into the podcast and everything to make it better for all of you. So, not mandatory. Everything's going to be free, but if you'd like, we'd appreciate it.
Slowly but surely going to use it for plastic surgery so we can just all look like Leon.
Yeah.
That'd be worth it.
3 Leons.
Next stream I pull up is Jeffree Star. A straight ghoul.
Science has gone too far.
Hi, poor people.
On that gross note, let's jump right into the topic. Topic number 1. Has esports and professional gaming ruined how games are developed, or would we not be where we are without esports? And this was a Brandon topic, so you can kick us off.
I'm divided because my realistic numbers mind is, of course, esports and all this has catapulted gaming to such a mainstream place that there's no way we'd be where we are without, Street Fighter and Overwatch and all these things being as big as they are. Tekken 7 specifically was huge, international. But I won't lie, I hate what it's done to games. I absolutely hate it. I really do. Everything has to be a meta efficiency math equation, and it's just, I feel like to such an extreme degree that when something comes out that doesn't do that, it becomes a problem online. Like, oh, how come I can't maximize my meta build? This game doesn't have enough content, and it's just like, maybe that's not the intent, dude. Maybe it is just to like play the game. I don't really have too much more of a deep thought on it. I'm interested to hear what you guys think, because I know, Adrian, you're more into breaking games and being more efficient. And then, same thing with you, Vaughn. What you guys do to Resident Evil, I'm like, to me, that is a nightmare. I wouldn't never do that. But at the same time, I see the enjoyment of why you would do that. So, and not that Resident Evil is an esport, but you know what I mean? Like, for one Team Fortress and Overwatch, now the industry has to we're all professional gamers for the next 15 years. And it's like, oh, you're not, dude. Like, it just, but go ahead, somebody.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vaughn. You can go ahead.
I was going to say, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. Matt listens to the podcast, and Matt played professionally for a while. And me and he called me, I want to say this is yesterday, and we were talking about this. I told him it's going to be a topic today. I gave him a little spoiler, but a lot of times he brings up topics. There's something weird going on. Obviously me and him have a weird connection, but like he will bring up topics that we are talking about that week.
That's
and
cool.
he brought up something similar to this. So it's funny. I literally had this similar discussion yesterday, and I was just bouncing ideas off of him. And to a degree, I do agree, because I feel like the esports and competitive, and like competitive scene has raised the standard mechanically on games, right? I feel like knowing it's one of those things where it's devs a lot of times they're decent, but they're not that great at the game. It requires the interaction of not just beta testers and not just QR testers, but like the highest level of play for them to really even understand the limits of where their game can go. Um, and I think that puts a in a sense a useful burden on a dev to make sure that your game is mechanically fleshed out. At a minimum, I want you to give me the mechanics and allow me to, for lack of a better term, break them. Let me figure that out, and then you can balance around what I end up doing. Like it's like, yeah, I had no clue. Like a lot of fighting games, for example, it's like these guys don't have the dexterity to do like an infinite, as an example. So they don't even know that's in the game. They can't balance it around that because they are incapable of doing so. So having that high level of player allows them to balance that game better mechanically. But in the same boat, I think there is definitely a level of detriment from that, like almost like kind of what you're saying, that almost requirement to fill that in. A good example I can give, and it didn't get backlash, but it's a prime example of an online mode in a game that I had a lot of fun with, was like the Doom 2, like the Doom
Eternal.
Eternal, the Doom Eternal multiplayer. Like that was just a fun thing. There's no competitive community for it. Nobody was reeling on it, but it was just a fun little extra thing where I feel like a lot of games are afraid to implement anything like that because people will do that thing where they're like, there is no way to make this competitive. This is stupid. This is a waste of time. This is dog water. And they drag a game for it. And the shitty part is, even if a game isn't, for example, Doom Eternal is not about that, but it's like there is a very real possibility that game could have suffered overall had that multiplayer got popular enough to be popular. It would have then been put in the eye of scrutiny from the competitive community, or it could have been, and that could have actually affected the overall score of games. So I feel like that, for one, is a possible negative part of it, as well as, and fun is subjective, obviously, but things like, perfect example is like Smash, and I love Smash, love playing Smash. I'm not, I thankfully like disassociated from it, but like when I started playing Smash at a higher level, I inherently started doing essentially pro Smash shit, like no items, no items. But before they did the like Omega level thing where you can make any level a flat plane, it was like no items, Final Destination or some other flat plane level, no level events on. And I think that impacts that game because there's a lot of games that, like the idea of the party game is almost non-existent because people are constantly thinking about how to make this game competitive. They're thinking about, it's like, oh, if I do there's not, and I'm not saying I want a busted shitty game, but like there was almost like an honor system back in the day, right? So it was like, if something is broken, you just don't do it. You don't pick odd job, you don't pick boss characters, stuff like that. But you could still, everybody could participate because the game wasn't like, we need to make this whole thing perfectly balanced so that, so that somebody doesn't take advantage of this specific system. It was just a party game to be with fun to be had for it. But it's like, yeah, the Smash thing, it's like, I don't know the last time I played even on a map with map events, let alone with like items, like the way the game is intended to be played. So I do feel like that is, one of the negatives to it. Like I said, fun is subjective and maybe people like that, but I feel like it does, for me, it takes away the overall fun of the game, or some of these games at a minimum, because it almost removes an entire portion of the game. Because if you're like someone that's just there for fun, you can't really go online. Like you can't do it. Like you can, but you're either, get lambasted by some lunatics that are like, what do you do? Like if I went on Smash and I made my own lobby and it had items and stuff, there's going to be people that are coming in and have fun, but there's going to be people that come in and like, what are you doing? this isn't Smash, this is garbage, this is blah, 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 blah. You know, it's like I can't even go on there and participate. And that's for games that allow you to have those kind of custom lobby options and have those different options. But for the most part, it's all going to revolve around that meta. And if you're not participating in the meta, you really can't participate to a certain point. Like I said, I think a lot of it's based off popularity. Once a game picks up enough and enough people get eyes on it, the community, which is a good thing in a lot of cases, feels ownership over it. So it's like if the it doesn't even have to be the majority of the community. If the most vocal part of your community feels this game needs to be more competitive, that game that puts pressure on the devs, you know, especially if it has, you know, a planned cycle. If it's not just a release and let it go, like if they want to continue to make some kind of money off the game, they need to cater to that vocal community or they're going to be without a community rapidly. So yeah, I think that's like I said, like, I think you're right. I think it is a somewhat of a dual-edged sword type of deal.
Yeah, definitely.
But that is, I guess, positives and negatives. I think it puts pressure for better development overall to make a better made game. But I think once we get into the realm of essentially forcing the competitive mindset on casual players, you almost remove a core part of certain games for everybody. And while the competitive scene might not care, there's plenty of people that do care, like myself.
Right.
So
It's that exactly is single-handedly, I think, what killed Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat has, in my opinion, lost its identity, especially with Mortal Kombat 1. It's too combo stringy. Day one, you have people pulling off infinite combos. Mortal Kombat is a very casual fighting game. Yes, it is extremely big, but there is a huge casual audience for that. That once, you know, they have the story mode, and they have all that stuff. But once you're pulling off these Guilty Gear-esque combos, you alienate such a large portion. You see what happened to MK1, it instantly died. It was too much. You took it too far. And and it's funny because it was a response to MK11, people saying that one was boring because it didn't have as many combo strings. I personally like MK11 a little bit more. It's more, you know, if you pull off a 7 to 10 piece combo, you're doing crazy damage. Whereas MK1, you're doing 50 hit combos and all this crazy stuff. Bing, 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 bounce, bing, 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 bing. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm done for. And kind of to piggyback off of what you're saying about party games being dead, it's like, yeah, stuff like War of the Monsters just straight up can't exist anymore.
Right.
It's not super complicated, not super, you know, whatever, but it's exactly what you're saying. Once something kind of hits that certain level of, what's that one game? There's another kaiju fighting game. Is it Gigabash or something? It's starting to get some popularity, and now they're kind of starting to tiptoe into crazier and crazier stuff. And I'm just like, oh man, I think you might be losing the plot, man. I don't know if this is. I guess we'll see. But even outside of multiplayer stuff, I think this ruined Shadow of the Erdtree. Straight up. If you don't have the thumbprint shield with a bleed rapier and a bleed build, you're going to suffer against the final boss. Straight up. You have, and it's like that defeats the entire purpose of a role playing game. You have to go on Fexture Life and look up what's the meta and change your build to it because there needs to be this cater to this community of maximizing numbers and get the highest number. So once I know that there is a specific set that's going to give me the maximized number, everything else is obsolete. There's no point. Which is crazy because the base game of Elden Ring corrected that from the other games, where you could have 2 daggers and they're just as strong. But now it's, you know, they've ruined it with that, in my opinion. And then last thing, and I'll let you guys go. Even in For Honor, like how you're saying with like competitive, I can't exactly remember which point you said, but about Smash Brothers, how you don't play with all the extra stuff of the game, even though that is the intended experience. For Honor, a lot of people don't like playing with the environmental stuff that can hurt you, like fire and spikes and ring outs. dude, that is like what makes it the game, is that I could tackle you with a big guy and smash you into the spikes. Same thing with old Mortal Kombat. I might sidestep you and uppercut you out of the map. That stuff to me is cool, but it's not competitive. So they've strayed away from that stuff. And it's become more and more and more like, if you're not just sweaty, then you don't belong here. And it's just, come on, dude. Can we find a nice balance at least? But I digress.
So for first and foremost, the Shadow of the Erd Tree thing, and then I'll let Vaughn go because I have a statement of the question. If you look that stuff up on like the Fextra Life, it's like, what's the best build, meta build? It's just a picture of me. Be me, you'll be fine in that game. But the other thing is, so I guess to kind of almost revise the question, so you're saying essentially you feel that the almost mindset of the competitive meta type of idea is leaking over into even single player experiences? You feel like that overall mindset of making a, essentially like the best type of thing?
I wouldn't say it's like unique from competitiveness, because obviously that's always been a part of RPGs. Any old turn-based game, you can find the thing to break the game. That's always a part of RPGs. It's just, I think now that everything's amplified, day one, here's the best build, and those are going to get the most views, which is going to get the most engagement. It's not like devs and publishers aren't seeing that. So now, okay, well, I've got this. I've got what's his name, with the mustache and the sunglasses, the '80s. He was real good at Call of Duty.
Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, you got Dr. Disrespect streaming Elden Ring, and he don't normally play Elden Ring, but he's playing it from that kind of mindset with that kind of audience, and it is fun. But it's like it just feels like the industry has started to cater more towards that, opposed to your original fans to a degree.
So I would say almost not even esports / competitive, more so like appealing to like the streaming type of community.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Vaughn.
Yeah, we can save some of that for topic 2. But I also kind of cheated with this one because it's yes and no in my mind. A lot of yes based on what you guys talked about. I would just add things like playing devil's advocate. I'll go with those first. Things like rollback netcode, I don't think we would have without professional gamers and esports and whatnot. So those types of things have overall improved the games that they're interacting with, which on the whole, I'd say are mainly fighting games, first-person shooter games, the Call of Duties, the War Zones, the Battlefields, Counter-Strikes, all those. But rollback netcode, things like Evo, even though that's not directly game-related, but that's essentially brought these professional gamers and casuals that maybe enjoy them into one centralized event. Well, there's more than one event nowadays, but as a whole, Evo's kind of prospered because of that landscape. So more of a community-based mindset. Things like accessibility, like accessibility options in games have come from this. Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6, for example, those auto combos, I know esports people don't really like those. They kind of shit on the casuals, but it's a easy entry point for casuals to get into these games, and I don't think those would exist if it was a strictly professional gamer only type game, because it would only be for those people. So there have been positives as a whole.
Yeah,
but I do agree that some of this try hard nature has seeped into too many things, and like I said, as we'll get to topic 2, there are elements to that are becoming a little too popular. But like it's a double-edged sword, like Adrian said.
I also think part of it is It's a overall mentality thing, partially. And the reason I say that is because like I've had the I guess you could call it pleasure, the what of knowing several professionals, right? So it humbled me. And I think there's a level of like, I want to win, I want to be the best. And it's like for me personally, and the reason I say it's a mindset is because I'm somebody who's capable of humbling themselves and accepting that reality. You know what I mean? So it's like there's people that was like, I want to be the best. It's like play a professional and it will wipe away the notion that you will probably ever be the best. Like playing, for example, playing Matt. Me and Matt played Call of Duty with the remake on shipment. That dude was shooting me so fast in the head with a Desert Eagle, instantly killing me. But like when I saw a flash of his flesh, and I had everything. I was throwing grenades, flashbangs, whatever, and I was getting blown out of the water. And it was like it made it so I was totally comfortable with not being the best because I was like, okay, there's a level here that maybe with the rest of my existence I can reach. And the same with like playing Christian in fighting games. It was like, but the reason I say it humbled me, it's because I was okay with these games not being, I was okay with enjoying these games for what they were and not worrying about the overly competitive nature of the game. You know, I was happy to compete, but when I lost, I wasn't like, oh, filthy casuals. Cause I remember playing like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 when you're talking about accessibility features. They had a quick combo system in that. And it was what it was it was essentially like, you know, decent players like myself, and then people that use that quick combo system could easily match you, but they still couldn't beat the higher tier of players. So it was one of those things where once it irritated me at first, but once I realized I'm like, why am I taking this so serious? I could then enjoy the game regardless. Because yeah, I'd play in one of our buddies, Connor. Connor would always pick the quick combo system. I'm like, I fucking hate this, dude. This is terrible. Like, why did they put this stupid thing in the game? But then I'm like, because it's a game. You know, at the end of the day, this allows Connor to participate and play in the game with us and enjoy the fun along with everybody else.
You nailed it. You nailed it. It's a game. It's too on the spectrum. Just a little too much. It's a little too tense out there about it. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, and that's essentially my point. With that is just because like Vaughn brought up the quick combo system, and I was trying to kind of think of that because I remembered when he said it, I got like PTSD. It was like Connor picking Firebrand, and he could just do all his moves like instantaneously, and it was fucking infuriating. And I was so mad at the time. And then it's like over time, I was just like, you know, and it just goes back to what like stuff like Christian would say to me, where it's like, you know, he's the one that got me hip to different fighting styles like zoning. You know, people hate, you know, spamming. And he was like, it was some of the simplest but wisest words. He's like, it's a strategy, and if you can't beat it, you're not good enough. You just got to learn. You either learn to counter it and outperform the other person, or you lose. They're not cheating. They're playing the game.
Right.
It's like this game doesn't need to be balanced because you're not good, essentially. Just because you're not good enough does not mean this game needs to be completely balanced around you. It's a game. So you can either put all your time, if you care enough, you can put all your time, attention, and focus into getting better at this, or you can accept that it's a game and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, even those auto combos in Street Fighter and Tekken 8, it's the same thing. It'll frustrate you at first, but nobody with auto combos is going to beat me at this point. It's just, you're not like, because even if it's a character I'm not used to fighting, they'll probably beat me the first couple rounds, but then I will see the exact pattern of what it is, and it's like, okay, high, high, low, low, high, and you'll see it. You know,
and
once
that's
you have an experience.
Yeah, and that's where it helps you break that skill ceiling, even where it's like he would beat me, not all the time, but like beat me enough to get on my fucking nerves because he was somebody who never played the game. But it's like he never beat Christian or Jeremy or Franco. He never beat them. And it's like, and that's like I said, he pretty much looked at me. He's like, hey, it's you just are incapable of countering what he's doing. This is on you. You're essentially mad at the fact that somebody who has less time in the game, or irritated at the fact that someone has less time in the game, can effectively match you using these accessibility features. but that's not a flaw in the game. That's a flaw in your gameplay. And it's like, and then seeing the results firsthand. It wasn't just like talking shit. It was like, and then observe, and then absolutely
Right.
serve his ass up on a platter. And then it also demonstrated, like, people get mad about it, but he's like, what it does is it allows you to match that level, but it doesn't allow you to surpass it. So getting mad about that kind of thing only makes it so you kind of, it makes it, looking back on it, it's like, oh, I just kind of feel like he didn't deserve to be at that level. But he's like, he can do small combos. You can do X amount of combos, but he's like, these higher level combos, this higher level gameplay, you can't do that via that system. The system, because that goes back to the devs weren't capable of fathoming that level of gameplay at the time. So they made these combos that realistically worked within that skill gap. But it's like, once you get over that skill gap and you start hitting these combos that the devs didn't even account for, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It was more so a positive in that it was like an avenue for more casual players to jump into a almost inaccessible professional level games that these developers are creating. And then there were a couple more points on the positive side related to that, in that, like you said, the devs couldn't even fathom specific things. I've read that they've brought in some high level players to help with the game, or help with games to kind of fine tune things. So that is a positive in my mind. And a negative, though, because I don't want to go all full blown yay esports, but I don't think we'd have like the character pass if it weren't for or I think we have the character pass because of professional and esports players.
Like a season pass, dropping a character.
Yeah, character pass, I guess, is specific to Street Fighter, but a season pass overall for these fighting games where they're drip feeding characters every X amount of time for you to buy. The whales or people that play these games like crazy are going to buy it for sure. And if they can get any extra money out of these people that they know are going to play and stick with it and try to get professional, they're going to do that. So I don't think we would see that avenue of revenue if it weren't for these high level players.
You would also, with it hitting such a mainstream level, when Tekken 7 had Negan from The Walking Dead, and what was it, Geese from another fighting game? I don't know which fighting
King
game.
of Fighters.
King of Fighters, and Noctis, and all these things. I guess really specifically The Walking Dead. Like, that is crazy. I mean, I personally thought it was corny, but that's, just me. Obviously, I'm in the minority with that. But, Walking Dead is huge. I wonder if they're going to have someone like that in Tekken 8. They haven't really said anything, but hopefully they have like Walt from Breaking Bad or something.
That would be insane.
They had that in, was it Tekken 3? They had the doctor that fixed up Yoshimitsu and Brian Fury.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And that was kind of his thing, dropping chemical bombs and stuff. So I mean, it would be weird.
He does look like Walt. Whoa.
It would be weird to see Walt like fall on the ground and like roll around and play dead and stuff like that character did. But
what an absolute sick callback. that was cool. I totally forgot about that.
I play games.
I don't know if there's any characters or anything like that popular right now to fill a role in a Tekken roster, because a lot of those popular characters were added to Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, you could have Millie Bobby Booby Billy Bobby Brown from Stranger Things.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight kind of has the
all of them,
the mindset on Stranger Things right now.
They just added like Stranger Things Vecna to the game.
Yeah, Tommy from Peaky Blinders shows up, just starts brutally rage beating people to death.
Yeah, a lot of my, or not a lot, but some elements related to this topic will channel into the next topic.
Yeah,
right.
I'm glad you brought that other topic, because it is both of them together, not so much one over the other. I actually think, now that I'm thinking about it, I might have more issues with the second topic than I do the first one, actually, because the first one's at least providing good stuff to it. I'm not super confident there's much good to the second one, but
I was going to say, I'm more positive about
Yeah.
your topic in terms of what it's brought to the gaming environment.
Yeah.
And most of the negative in my mind is isolated to very specific genres of games, whereas topic 2 is all genres. And
I'm pretty good on this topic.
Yeah,
Same.
I think I talk the most, so yeah, go ahead.
Alrighty. Topic 2. As of 2026, has the concept of influencers become a positive or negative for the entertainment industry? This was my topic, so I jump right into it. I absolutely detest the concept of influencers and what it's done to not only games, but every source of entertainment that we enjoy. Because they've essentially created these microcosms or tiny communities of human hate. And they're not always hating things, of course. When they start channeling some negativity, it snowballs and everyone hears about it. And we've talked a little bit about it before in terms of death threats towards actors, developers, etc. And some of that stems from this, where these influencers in streams or on YouTube kind of spit out something they dislike, and because their communities are so gung-ho about wanting to be liked by them or just needing some outlet, they create this gang of disgusting human beings that go out and do terrible things and post terrible things and could essentially, in a focused area of games, destroy a developer's confidence, destroy a game as a whole. I know, Adrian, you were talking to me about High Guard the other day and how it directly relates to this. If you want to go into that, it's.
Oh, I'm absolutely gonna. Whenever you're set, I'm gonna go into that.
No, you can go into it. It's
trash.
Yeah, so yeah, my thing with this is there is much more negative than there is positive, and I think it's because there's like a fucking direct lack of integrity is what it comes down to when it comes to these people. So using High Guard as an example, I'm by no means jumping out and shilling for High Guard. I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. I don't think it's this gem diamond in the rough. I think it is a competent, decently actually made shooter that is guilty of being painfully bland. I'll give it that. I like by no means am I acting like this game is the next big thing. But this, like the stuff I'm seeing. So, and the reason I say, lack of integrity is because I've watched a couple people react to it, and it's like on channels that are kind of, and I'll admit, like the headlines of it, it's like, High Guard failing, bomb, in the positive sense. And the streamers that they display doing it are saying the wildest shit I have ever heard in my life when it comes to this. And by all means, you could say it's subjective, but you're telling me you play games professionally, maybe not like on a competitive level, but like it's your job to play video games. And you're like, this is the most boring game I've ever played. This game is shit. This game is terrible. It's like, this game is by no means shit or terrible or any of those things. It is bland. I will 100% say that. The game doesn't have a whole lot of soul to it, but there is, there's an idea there that if they had actually spent a little more time to flesh things out, could have been, something decently made. But you see people almost feel. So just to backtrack a little bit, I talked about Big Fry. I have a lot of respect for that guy. He's very harsh on games, and he was very harsh on High Guard because he's big into first-person shooters. He almost took like direct offense because he feels that first-person shooters people just turn out first-person shooters and they expect them to do well. And he doesn't like the fact that that's an industry standard type of thing, like this cookie cutter. I'm going to put out this half-baked bullshit. And it's like he takes direct issue with that, which is fine. I respect that. But he pretty much had the same, because I thought I was going crazy for a while. Everybody's saying these unbelievably ridiculous things. And, you see the people in the chat, they're like, yeah, it's shit, blah, blah, blah. you know, a lot of people doing the whole it's DEI nonsense. It's like, first of all, nothing in that game is anything that someone would consider woke or any shit like that. None of it is. There's nothing in that game that would indicate there's any mindset of that. If that is something that would be an issue to somebody, the fact that people are even saying that just demonstrates that you listened to headlines and, you know, thumbnails, and you interacted with the game 0%. You know, you played a match of it just so you could say that you did it and that the game was bad, and then you toss it out. But it's with when you don't have integrity, these guys feel the need to sensationalize it. You know, it can't just be because it's a like they're influencers. They have to make it entertaining. You know, they have to make their stream entertaining. If they're not saying something that is, you know, potent, then they're not saying anything effectively. So they can't just say, you know, this game is kind of boring, you know, it's not that great, but it's not that bad. You know, they can't give it a lukewarm take. So it always, you know, a lot of times these people feel almost, in my opinion, pressured to give it these much harsher than makes sense type of labels. And this is an issue other than High Guard. This is something that I feel like extends to the industry as a whole. And really what it comes down to is people with, in my opinion, and I'm not the gatekeeper of gamers, but people that have a minimal overview of gaming and the gaming industry, it's like what I said it before. It's like, dude, you've been playing the same fucking Call of Duty games for 15 years, and that's all you've been playing. And now you're going to jump out. And so that makes you an expert on, you know, and you don't have to be an expert to speak out, but it's like, it's integrity and humility. If I'm not going to give a crazy hot take unless I feel that I have at least some foundation in like overall understanding. It's like, you don't have any really foundation in anything but a very niche side of the market. And even in that, you pretty much only have an understanding of playing that game. But in terms of what makes a game, like these are the takes of people that are like, it feels good, it looks good, it is smooth, and like that's it. There's no more in-depth analysis of what's going on. And it's just it infuriates me that it's the fast way to make money. It's the fast way to gain popularity. And like Vaughn said, you get these microcosms, these echo chambers of people that want their biases confirmed. And the easiest way to get them to come back is to confirm their bias.
And like you were saying, for a mediocre to great game, you have that. But it also works in reverse, where it's a bad game and these influencers are being paid to promote it and they're faking it, which is almost equally as bad, but sometimes harder to determine. But yeah, it's kind of gross to see how popular that these people have become. And then fast forward years and you find out they're terrible human beings, but that's a whole nother topic that we could get into. But yeah, it's exhausting seeing devs promote these types of people and them gaining this popularity and spewing this fakeness is, I guess the best word for me is just this persona of knowing what they're talking about, but not actually doing the work to put opinion behind anything, and then gaining a following based on falsehoods. It's depressing.
Right. Because it's, for me, just to kind of piggyback off that and let Brandon go, it's instead of saying, let me think about it, something has to be said now.
Mm-hmm.
Something has to be said now on stream. And like I said, it can't be, it's you got to essentially pick a side, one or the other. And the tendency is to go towards the side of what, you know, the current internet fucking miasma is spewing out. And I just, like I said, I think that lacks integrity in its entirety. It'd be honest of you to say, because going back just to Big Fry real quick, it's like he had harsh opinions, but he also had actual thought out, well developed, takes on the game, what made it the way it is, what could improve the game. These other people aren't doing anything like that. They feel the need to have something said right now, but not everything, and especially in a industry like this where it is, art, it should be ingested, ruminated on, and then, and then produce a more fleshed out take on things. It's you're just shooting off the cuff based on really nothing. And
You're experiencing art through another person, which isn't actually experiencing it. You're fake.
right. And while I don't feel, I want to clarify, I do not feel that influencers are directly responsible for, unless you say some crazy shit. And obviously I don't really know any influencers game related that do some shit that directly like hurt people. But unless you're calling for like an actual, like you have to be calling to action to do something bad. And then I'm like, yeah, you're responsible for that. I don't think anybody has the responsibility of other people's opinions, but it is the fact of the matter that the reality is you do influence some of the more weak-minded people out there to just kind of go along with what you're saying because you are their gateway to this. Like Vaughn said, they're experiencing the art through you. So there is a level of like, yeah, you're not responsible, but you should also care. It's almost like, and then this is more extreme. I'm not saying it's equivalent to, but it's like, the human capacity to care. I'm not obligated to help anybody, but I should help people when I can help people because it's a decent thing to do. And it's the same thing here. You're not obligated to make sure that the people that ingest your content are thinking critically and interacting honestly, but you should feel the need or the inclination to try to facilitate that. You should want to facilitate that. And I just think there's the community, this influencer streamer community lacks that. It's not about pushing discussion and pushing thought and analysis because, like I said, the Big Fry put that out there. It's like those are good notes. Someone could take those notes and someone could improve upon something. But what you're just saying is, boo, I don't like it. It's not good. I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to put on Call of Duty fucking Black Ops 8 and just fucking, do this over and over and over again, play Beavis and Butthead and Nicki Minaj. And it's like, I don't respect anything about what you're doing.
Brandon.
Yeah, I fully agree. For anybody watching, we will never be them, ever. That will never be us. It makes me think of back when we lived together, and it was, if somebody had a crazy opinion, that's fine. You could have that opinion. You ask them why 3 times and watch them fold. Because I know you're speaking from headlines. You don't actually know what you're talking about at all. Actually, it's that's just what I think.
It's not good enough.
Okay. All right. Well, you brought it up, so I don't know what you're upset about.
Right. The second it hits, there's those core phrases that that somebody ain't got shit to say about anything, no actual thoughts. It's just that's just what I think. Whatever. It's not that serious, and it's like we get animated. We get excited because we care about these things. Yeah. But that's the thing, we've had discussions where all of us are getting animated and in a sense up in arms. I know me and Matt do all the fucking time. People think we're about to fist fight half the time when we're talking about the most randomest shit. But it's like, no, I'm not angry. I'm just having a discussion because I care. So I'm having a discussion.
And you've thought it out. That's the thing is, you're never we can be on opposite sides, but I just wanted I can respect that you've at least thought your way through it.
You'll never hear any of us use those phrases because that's not it. It's like I have fleshed out my opinion because I spent time thinking about it. And just prime example, I'll let you go. I spent about like an hour today, as much as I hate to admit it, an hour today on that video of Horace talking about Sanguinius, him being the best. And I posted on the video. I'm just like, I love that even, the arch trader himself, like everybody there is like, fuck, that guy's awesome. Like everybody loves Sanguinius. And then dude came on there and he's just pretty much just like, Sanguinius ain't shit. He's a Mary Sue. I think he's a poorly written character. I had an hour-long discussion with that guy. Talked to him. kept talking to him. He'd bring up points. I would counter his points. He'd bring up points. I'd counter his points. He'd bring up points. I'd counter his points. And like, it's funny because like at the end, the guy's like, I just don't think we're going to agree, man. And I'm like, dude, I'm not looking to agree. I was like, I'm just talking 40K. I was like, I just like having this discussion. You have a different perspective than myself, and that's fine. But the guy had point, like every single one of them was like 2 paragraphs. My responses and his responses each was like 2 paragraphs between each other, where we're just talking about the pros and cons of the other Primarchs, the setting, Sanguinius himself. And it's like, that is the kind of mindset that we are in. And, you know, that's the kind of thing that I consider integrity. We have views and we have put thought behind our views. And I think if you're not willing to do that, by all means, you are, like I said, I'm no gatekeeper of speech or gaming, but it's like I feel like you lack integrity if you have no interest in engaging on that level, but you feel the need to vocalize your opinions into the ether.
To go off of something Vaughn was saying about people saying a game is good, but really they don't. Have you guys ever seen those streamers who are playing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora? And he's like, yeah, man, this game's real good. I'm a play it off stream. And they all start laughing because they don't like the game. Like they couldn't even keep it together.
Yeah.
On a positive note, influencer is such a weird word. I kind of associate influencer with the annoying people.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because I think of like Maximilian, dude. Technically, he's an influencer, and he actually has influence.
Oh, yeah.
None of the cool ones call themselves influencers.
Correct.
I just want to point that out. None of the cool ones call themselves influencers.
They're personalities, probably.
Right, and there's plenty of good ones, and plenty of good ones that, you know, thoroughly explain the game or say, hey, I don't have an opinion on this yet. It's exactly what you're saying. They have integrity, and it shines through immediately. You know when somebody's being real. Which is why I don't watch like 95% of most of those people. But the number one thing that I think that influencers have ruined, outside of being painfully obnoxious and hateful, is because streamers are playing games all day, they obliterate games immediately and put this narrative out that there's not enough content in the game. When normal people who work and have families and aren't just sitting on stream all day, which, don't get me wrong, I would love to sit on stream all day. I'm not knocking it in any way. But if I grind out all of Hunt Showdown's new battle pass, which is set for you to do within like a month, if not longer, and then you're going to go on camera with your however many people as a huge, influencer, blah, blah, whatever, and be like, there's just not enough content. Like, that was really bad with Battlefield 6. People were like, this just needs like a battle pass and skins and all this and that and that. It's like, dude,
what are you playing the game for at that point?
You don't speak for the demographic here. There's a reason why that game ended up being the best-selling game of the year. It's because it was the antithesis of everything that has come for the last 10 years. I don't want that stuff.
I thought you were different with that for sure, but we keep going on.
I
thought you were gonna say like the essentially like the spoiler type thing, like the Kai Cenat thing, like
that too. I mean,
but we can talk on this for a second. Yeah, because that one's simple. It's like people that play the game and then fucking post content about the game with no option of avoiding seeing the content, and that sucks for people that care a lot. I don't care a whole lot about spoilers, so it's like it doesn't affect me too much.
Right.
But like I do feel for people that care about that. I understand why they do. But like on what you were saying just a second ago, it's like even in games that are non-multiplayer focused, you see people say that there's not enough to a game, and they don't. There's certain parts of a game, like a heavily story driven or a heavily environmental storytelling driven game. Those people aren't interacting the way we are, and part of that is because like on streams, for example, it's you constantly need to be doing something. Like if people aren't there for you, so there's like the big ones, like and there's obviously some smaller ones that are people there for the person. So it's like, the Moist Critical stuff like that. It's like people are there like to hang out with them, so they don't care. So like they're watching him play the game, but essentially you're hanging out. But like other people, the point is to play the new thing and get eyes on. So it's like, for example, obviously the game did incredibly well, but it's like games, let's say a game like Elden Ring. I'm not incentivized to do what I do in that game, which is looking every fucking nook and cranny. I'm running up rocks in the middle of nowhere, seeing if I could find a random item. And if I'm streaming it, I need to be going from fight to fight. I need to be doing something. I'm not incentivized to interact with that game and give that game, obviously, like I said, Elden Ring's a example, but obviously it doesn't count because it just did well on its own. You know, the Souls community it took care of that game, and so did everybody else. But a smaller scale game that, you know, is of that essence where it's story driven and requires exploration to really get a feel and appreciation for that game, those games get underserved because it goes back to the people have now ingested that art through you, and you have only shown them portions of the game that you could fit into and make exciting to be viewed. You know, so you really have stripped the ability of people, or stripped the willingness of people to interact with that game the way it's supposed to be interacted with.
Right. Which is interesting because this could tie into, if we get to a topic 3. I am really sensitive to spoilers. However, when it comes to the internet, that kind of thing has turned into self-policing. I know they're going to do it. They do it with movies. They do it with, the Cormac McCarthy books came out and people have the final page posted. It's like, what is even happening? It's a book, dude. Dang. Like, what? We're spoiling books. My issue is more going back to just being the vocal minority, the spokespeople for the games, the streamers. You're influencing devs to such, it kind of ties back into topic 1 where streamers affected Mortal Kombat 1 negatively. Oh, MK11's boring, it's slow, you can't do air juggles. Yeah, look how that played out. Now MK1 is literally dead. Nothing left coming for it. You know, it just, the spoiler stuff is annoying, but I think the influence are directly affecting development.
Yeah.
And those are some of the most obnoxious people ever. So it sucks that you're even listening to them.
But on the positive side, I'll throw out that the good personalities, I'll say, can positively influence a game that might not have ever had a chance. So them streaming it and showing a community that might not have ever heard of or seen a certain game can definitely boost sales. We've seen it happen with things on Steam. I don't have specific off the top of my head, but
Undertale is a big one.
Probably Helldivers 2 was a big one
Moist
too.
Critical did the finals, I think, in the summertime, and it boosted the finals back, which is like, yeah, that's awesome for sure. And yeah, I wouldn't call Moist Critical one of the annoying ones where they're just like,
well, and that's that, the, you know, it's like I said, it's like people that have a big not built in, they built it themselves, but like that have that fan base that's there for them. They're there for that individual. They don't need to, like, they're essentially just talking, you know, they're having discussions with people and giving their opinions because they know
they're being themselves.
Right, because no matter what, that, like, themselves is what got them to where they're at.
Yeah.
Sensationalism isn't what got them where they're at. None of that is where they got them where they're at. It's them themselves. They have great personalities, and they convey this authenticity, and that's what drew people to them. And I love stuff like that. And just as it's a positive and a negative, just because you had brought up like development, essentially just influencing trends in the gaming industry. And this one is kind of more subjective because obviously people can enjoy certain trends. But the trend, like, for example, in a trend that I could not stand, and I'm happy that we're finally getting away from it, was like the fuck me daddy horror games. Like when like their devs started making games for streamers.
Yeah.
Like when Amnesia, you know, hit the scene and everybody was having their reactions, that is a trend that has lasted until now. And it is almost exclusively, I rarely see anybody ever going, man, I sure can't wait to go play fucking Amnesia or, you know, Outlast or stuff like that. Like, not these days. Like, those games had no real staying power. They were designed almost specifically for streamers. and it would boost the sales, but it was like they had no long-standing cultural impact.
It was a flash in a pan.
Right. And it's while I think that's not necessarily a negative, I just do find that's just an irritating thing when, especially like games like the horror genre. It's like I would like to see, not that. And that was the thing for the longest time. And I'm like, this is where the money's at. So this is where they're at. But these games hold no value. And like I said, it's subjective because to somebody, they were probably fucking living it up. And they're probably like, man, I love these games. But for me personally, I think it's like, man, when people influence trends that are just, in my opinion, just lame. And it's like you can tell that because a lot of these games are very bare bones, in my opinion. And it's like, this game is really just, because whether, people could like it or not, it's like Amnesia is like a walking sim. It's a scary walking sim. There's really no like whole lot of interaction in it. And it's like, this game wasn't, I feel like some of those games weren't made to be played so much as they were straight up made to be like watched.
I think Five Nights at Freddy's has really been the only successful one from that group, because that kind of came out around that time too. Amnesia, right. Five Nights, almost was it the early PS4? I want to say is when that really started picking up.
I have to look into it. I found out a lot of these games are kind of older than I thought they were. Because I feel like Amnesia.
Outlast was probably one of those too.
So, but like I said, I wouldn't say that's a direct negative, but it is something when they promote a trend and get a trend going that I'm like, I can't wait for this to end. But it keeps printing money, and I'm like,
there were definitely some Unity-based game clones around that trend, so I get it.
Yeah, it's horror. Not to go on too much of a tangent, but Amnesia to me is almost the equivalent of Paranormal Activity. Low budget, was very successful, flash in the pan, but was so culturally relevant that, dude, every movie up until The Witch was Paranormal Activity or The Exorcist in some way. Like, oh, it's a camera and there's footprints. Did you see that the camera picked up that movement? Same thing with Amnesia. And it's like, I get it because they're cheap, they're easy to make, blah, 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 whatever. But something about horror specifically that it's just so, I don't know. Maybe we can save that for another topic, but horror just gets done dirty, man.
It's the jump scares are easy, cheap, and universally acknowledged as something that it can scare you.
It's just, horror is so, I feel, universally liked. I think horror, like, everybody likes horror movies to some degree. Not like, everybody, but it's super popular. Everybody wants to, it's, even if you're not playing it, you're there's always that, like, little kid in you that's like, let me just take a peek, that morbid curiosity. But yeah, I can say that for another time.
Cool. We hit on all the points we wanted to.
Yeah, my rage knows no bounds, so we can just move on.
That's an
we will never be people ever.
It's an ever evolving
I'll
hate.
end it on that one. Yeah, we'll never be you animals.
Never.
It kind of touches on the next topic too a little bit. Okay, topic 3. Do you think game companies may be revealing too much in the lead up to games? Also, do you think the current show me now landscape makes more subtle wait and see marketing feasible? And this was Adrian's topic.
Yeah, I'll hop on that. So
Brandon,
it is.
You had something real quick?
I was just gonna. Could you? Well, I mean, you're about to explain it, but I guess elaborating the last part of that question. I don't think I understand it.
That was the first thing I was
Okay,
gonna do.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So the last part it's more of, I don't want to call it like an addendum, but like kind of tacked on to the first part of the question, almost as like a clarifying question / statement. So effectively, like the revealing too much. I feel like right now there is a heavy emphasis on, I want to see more. The show me. People want to see more. The ages of like traditional trailers and small parts of the gameplay are like you, in my opinion, like I feel like it has made it less feasible overall. And not to make this like the high guard thing, I think this applies to a lot of things, but I feel like this, high guard got done dirty in terms of like the marketing. Um, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity to be offered the spot that they got offered, and it backfired. I think games like that, games that are trying to introduce new concepts, benefit from a more of a trickle out effect. So it's like, you want me to show you everything about your game before I interact with the game, and now you're forming more opinions on the game than are justified, because in reality we don't really know anything about this game. So it's like you're showing a lot so people think they know more than they do, but they really don't. So you're preemptively game. I feel like a lot of games get preemptively judged based on what they're rolling out. And in a specific case such as that one, where it's like, I think a lot of people thought they knew more about the game than they did. And so it was already judged based on what people perceived and not what was in there. And I just don't think, I think that could work for some games, but I think the making that almost the standard is not good for the industry. I don't think games should show you everything. And like, I know the Resident Evil thing is different, to an extent, but it's like, just using that as an example, it's like I've seen 4 videos that are like, 20 minutes long about all the gameplay in the game. And there's probably smaller elements in the game, but I'm going into it kind of pre-assuming things about the game that are inaccurate. And Resident Evil, they have a solid track record at this point. They kind of got back on track. So I think it's overall positive, but like any game, I feel like games that have either are new or already have like a negative connotation to them suffer from that. I feel like that makes people already, like, and I've said it a couple times, I'm kind of just rambling on about it, but I feel like that makes people already attribute things to a game without truly interacting with it. They feel like they got the demo. It goes back to what Vaughn said. They feel like they've experienced enough of the art without having to experience the art. Now, this could be mitigated greatly by consoles adopting a refund system like Steam has. So it's like, I get where people are coming from. And I feel like there's something to be said there, where if they implemented a refund system on, all platforms, people would still be inclined to at least interact with the game. But as it sits now, especially with the industry being the way it is, game prices being what it is, I hate to be that guy, but the economy, with the economy being what it is, it's like, I'm not going to spend $70 to have a bad time. And if you've shown me what I perceive to be enough to judge your game, that is now what it is. And then that circles back around to, now we're leaving the entirety of the judgment, or a large portion of the judgment, in the hands of people, of a select group of people. A lot of the judgments are left in the hands of a select group of people, because the other people have decided that it's not worth interacting with before ever interacting with it, because they feel like they've ingested enough of the art through what you've shown them. So,
yeah. I'm hypersensitive to spoilers. Like, and it's not because I don't want to be. I almost don't have a choice. This is going to sound really weird. It actively bothers me when I'm playing the game and I see something that was really cool, and I'm like, man, I wish I hadn't seen that in the trailer. So, for example, Dark Souls, honestly, From Software in general, they show way too much in their trailers. I had to stop watching their trailers. In retrospect, if you go and watch the first gameplay reveal of Elden Ring, dude, you see ancient dragons, Malekith, you see the what's it called? Everything, anything you can think of. You pretty much saw the whole game. You saw the capital, and granted, that game still carried a magic to it, but Elden Ring's unique. Dark Souls 3 did the same thing. The trailer showed the Nameless King. It showed the worm. It showed the dragon. What's the dragon area up in the sky? Like the secret area.
Oh yeah, the Dragon Eerie or whatever.
Is it Dragon Keep or something? Anyway, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Another example, even though we talked about in the last podcast when Joel fell in the rebar, and for a moment I was like, oh my God, are they going to kill, the protagonist? I immediately remembered the trailer, like, wait a minute, I haven't seen him in his fall or his spring t-shirt yet. So I know he's okay because I was watching trailers. It's like stupid stuff like that. Like Judas, I've talked about it 1,000 times. Judas and Control, I'm going blackout. I don't want to see anything, and those are specifically because there's going to be something they're going to show in that trailer that is going to be something you're going to just, even kind of the Control trailer a little bit, that weird face that's in the middle of the city. It's like, I almost wish I didn't see that, but it's a reveal trailer. Overall, I would say the first time so let's just say it's Demon Souls. I don't think it would have been too much of a problem to get as much exposure as possible. Maybe even not so much for Dark Souls. But once you've hit a certain level, to me it's like unacceptable that From Software is showing so much. Like, dog, people are going to show up regardless. You just got to throw that logo out there. Naughty Dog, even though Naughty Dog kind of, all their stuff got leaked, show your gameplay and then that's it. I think everybody is showing too much. Crimson Desert has a 50-minute gameplay out there right now. Why do you need to show an hour of your game? Probably with that game because it looks unbelievable, but I just don't think there's ever a reason to. There's just no mystique with anything at all. None. Go ahead.
Real quick, and then you can go ahead, Vaughn. I get what you're saying. My issue, and it's like spoilers, but not spoilers. And I know I really don't care too much, but there is a level of mine is more so like the mechanics of the game, even.
Yeah, I was going to say that
like
as
you're
well.
you're talking about like the reveal,
the Resident Evil 9
story.
stuff.
Yeah, it's like you are, and they're not just showing it like they're like stopping and breaking it down for me.
Yeah,
you're breaking down this game fundamentally to me, and it's like I kind of want to experience it firsthand, kind of just going into it. I want to open the box and get, figure out what I'm getting and not be told everything I'm getting directly like that.
Death Stranding is a great example of that. Whereas you could probably see story spoilers in Death Stranding. I'm sure it's way more in 2 than it is in 1, but you still, to a degree, wouldn't even know what you're looking at. Outside of the art of it being incredible, what makes Death Stranding special in Kojima games in general is discovering the gameplay. I totally agree. Like, I was a little bummed out when people were like, oh yeah, if too much stress starts happening, you have to calm the baby down. It's like, what a weird mechanic, and I hate that you're telling me that. Why? That would have been so cool. Or Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry is a great franchise for this because so many secrets are hidden within combat during certain frame attacks. So if you're specifically Nero fighting Virgil and they do their little cinematic animation, right? It ends with them. I think Nero takes Virgil's sword and stabs him. However, if you time it just right and go Devil Trigger, he'll do a unique animation and it does double damage. But they never say anything about that. Or Virgil's flying at you, and if you catch him with your arm, it'll do a unique suplex. Saw those on thumbnails and stuff. It's like, come on, man. But
your thoughts, Vaughn?
I understand where you both coming from. I would push back on both points in the sense of I'm in the middle in terms of spoilers. In the sense of that's fine. I dislike seeing too many mechanics, and I also dislike seeing too many cinematics. But I'm in a happy medium where I like to see some of both of those, and then I'm satisfied. We unfortunately live in a time where the algorithms are pushing stuff to us that we don't want. So unless you're actively muting specific words and staying away from social media, if you're highly focused on games, then you're going to see that type of stuff, and it sucks. And I don't want to get spoiled in the sense of seeing something in a thumbnail, for example. But in where I push back with Adrian's point, and it kind of relates to topic 1 and 2. These influencers are doing the breakdowns and doing those huge 30-minute posts of like, I'm going to go frame by frame and totally overanalyze everything about Leon's movements and put things in your head that may or may not happen. And if I'm going strictly based on what Capcom has put out, which is I think like 10 or 12 minutes, I'm good. Like if I just watch that, I'm good. Like I'm satiated with the new mechanics that they're bringing, the graphics, what it looks like, and a little bit of new areas and whatnot from what they originally showed us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to watch anything that Max goes over that might be a 30-minute breakdown, or any other personality that might be over analyzing stuff that they don't even know.
Right. I don't. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then to your point, I think we are hyper attentive to that stuff. And I don't think the average person would equate X number of bosses in a trailer to then being like, oh, I saw that already. This is boring. Or not saying that you say it's boring, but like it would have been nice to have been surprised by that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we notice that stuff and pick up on it and can comment and pay attention to it and then equate it to the game because we're playing in a different manner than the normies out there, where they need that type of stuff to get the blood pumping. Whereas we know the companies that are making this stuff. We know the franchises that they're dealing with. We have confidence in these teams. So we don't really need to see too much unless it's maybe something groundbreakingly new. And even then, it's just a little crumb that I need.
I was gonna say exactly that. It is just I'm way too attentive to it. Like I am seeing those details and not blinking the whole trailer.
go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. As far as the influencers go, it doesn't really bother me with them. Them doing spoilers, because in my mind that's fans being fans. Yeah. You know, something that hasn't come out. Like if I see Max is doing a 30-minute breakdown on RE9 and I know I'm not, I don't need to watch that video. After I play the game, sometimes just for fun, I'll go back and listen to him, see if he was right or, whatever, like, when I'm working. But my bone to pick is just with, I don't know if it's the marketing team, the devs being like, hey, this is okay. I would assume Miyazaki has the final say on what's in the trailer. It's like, dog, did you have to show Malekith? Like, that's a little unnecessary.
Kojima's guilty of too much in trailers too. Like over the years, I feel like he's gotten
the guitar guy. He did not need to be in the trailer.
He's gotten too movie-esque with his trailers, and like I respect the craft that you're putting into it and the care. Like it's very cinematic. Like I'll give you the props on that, but I'm going to be playing this game soon, and if you're showing me a 5-minute trailer with a lot of the core cutscenes, like I'm in your camp then, where I'm like, I saw this. This would have been cool to not see.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I promise I'll let you
go. No, you're fine. I don't have anything crazy.
Okay. Just to kind of go off of Adrian's point with gameplay mechanics, that was something which there was no hope for me with Dragon's Dogma 2. I was outrageously hyped. I was watching everything, didn't care if I was in it. But I knew while I was watching stuff, I'm like, oh, I wish I wasn't watching this, because they were talking about like the Dragon Plague mechanics and all that stuff, which was a super cool thing when it happened to the game. It still caught me off guard, but I was anticipating it throughout the game. Ironically, it got me when I wasn't expecting it. So I guess that ended up being cool. But another one of those things of like, that is a super unique mechanic that I wish I hadn't known, but I did do it to myself. But at the same time, why are you guys putting it in the trailer? Like, there's no reason to have that in any type of press release. But
yeah. My only thing I was going to say with it, and then actually I'm happy it took, you kept on going, because it kind of gave me a little time to cook on it. My thing with the FromSoft, it is, and honestly, it goes on both principles, even like the cinematics and even the mechanics. There is, Vaughn's right. That genie is essentially out of the bottle in terms of like the show me now. It's like either it makes sense for companies to do it. I think now, then, because listen to what you guys are saying, it makes sense for companies to do it because if anything, it's people are ingesting that through other people, and then they're getting that through other places. So it's like you may as well show some of it yourself. That way you're essentially just increasing the visibility of your product because it's out there. It is out there. So it's like
That's fair.
not telling anybody isn't really going to do you any favors because it's that's just how it is now.
It's marketing to the lowest common denominator.
Right. And I think what it comes down to for me on both sides is essentially what more is there to it. So, and by that I mean, like, for example, FromSoft, they do show a lot, but by no means like there's more spectacle to be had. Like if you showed me everything, and yeah, FromSoft is showing a lot, but it's like because there's fucking a lot more there. And I'm not saying like, that, makes up for it. And I understand where there's moments that were ruined, but it's like you could show me the fucking Malekith and all kinds of shit, but it's like there was still so much that you did not show me. And that softens the blow. I didn't feel like I saw too much because there was so much more than what I was shown that I was like, okay, that's fine. And what I would say, like on the gameplay, I feel the same way. My only thing with that is there's so few games I feel that do something like that. And I feel like only specific genres of games can have enough mechanics within them for me to feel that way about it. And the best example I can give is like Baldur's Gate 3. And that game is an outlier of outliers. Like that game is, in my opinion, something incredibly special. But you could show me a lot in that game, but there's so much, and I think part of it is there's just so much interactivity within the game outside of like you can utilize those mechanics in a lot of unique ways. I've said it before. That game is like the perfect D&D entry point for people, and I think that because that's the point. It's that you play it like you play a D&D campaign. You have a ton of options. You have a ton of ways to do stuff, and you can interact with a lot of things in a lot of ways that are realistically like innumerable. There's damn near infinite possibilities. So it's like a game like that can show me some mechanics, but since the point of the game is to use those mechanics in a unique way as one would within a D&D campaign, it didn't affect me as much seeing stuff on that because it's like I could see you could show me a 30-minute video of shit to do in that game or how to do things, and I could still find an infinite number of ways to do those things differently with the same mechanics. So that's like my thing on both those really comes back down to as long as you left enough in reserve, or not so much in reserve, as long as what you gave me can well and truly be called an appetizer. You didn't bring me a rack of ribs and then go, yeah, that's the appetizer. Here's the main course, and then hand me a side of mashed potatoes.
Your food analogies be on point. Every single time. This guy loves food.
I love food. But yeah, that's my thing. It's like as long as you're handing me a well and true appetizer before the main dish, and not the other way around. Now, yeah, if you're having me a slab of ribs and you're like, you don't, just you wait till you get the main thing, and then it's a side of potatoes, and you're like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
I'm full already. So
Buns.
I think,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, if games do that, like I said, the FromSofts in terms of spectacle, the mechanics in terms of something like Baldur's Gate, I'm okay with it, for the most part, because like Vaughn said, the genie's out of the bottle. You're not going to stop the show me mentality.
Right. Vaughn's going to love this one. Honestly, who I think does really good advertising is Bethesda. I know that's satanic, but Fallout 4, they revealed it, released it 3 months later, showed one trailer. That's the way you do it. And Oblivion didn't say a word. It leaked everywhere, which built this larger than life thing. It ended up being like in the top 10 best selling games of the year. And then they just dropped it. Because it's ironic because a lot of games get Watch Dogs syndrome, where you're showing me this game for years. By the time it comes out, dude, I don't care anymore. Whereas Oblivion, you're telling Oblivion is about to come out. No, it actually comes out Friday, dude. Whoa, the hype is there.
Yeah, that was going to be my main point. That I don't think companies are revealing too much in the lead up. I think they're creating too far of a lead up.
Yeah.
And then by the time it comes out, sometimes they try to overcompensate. Sometimes in the sense of something like Judas, they almost do too little. And there's a weird happy medium that we haven't quite found yet. And that's the part that rubs me the wrong way, in that we're seeing things get announced 2, sometimes 3 years in advance. And it's like, I don't care what you just showed me. Like, I'm not going to see that for ages. So I don't care whatsoever about it.
Literally Control-Alt-Delete that from my mind instantly. Bloop.
Yeah.
Don't care. Probably be dead by then.
I could care less. But like you said, with Bethesda, yeah, they do know how to properly hype something and release it at the right amount of time. My ideal is like a drip feed. Like, I say anything more than a year is way too much. Tell me 6 months to a year, and just sporadically give me like little teasers, like a minute long little gameplay, maybe a cinematic trailer that's a couple seconds long. And then once you get to, I'll give credit to Capcom, like, this is an ample time to release that 12-minute chunk of footage. Now don't show me anything else. Don't show anyone anything else until that game comes out.
Yeah.
And I'll be satiated with a proper marketing for that game. There's going to be more marketing once it gets closer to February, of course. Some trailers, some Walmart videos that you put up in there to show it off. But in terms of raw, like, footage, I don't need anything else.
No. And it, just like what you're saying, with unless it's a year out, dude, unless you know for sure you're going to hit the date you're even thinking, because immediately Wolverine came to my mind, which I'm sure they went through some kind of development hell that we're not aware of. GTA
Weeks.
6, yeah, lots of games. It's just cool. But when you announced Wolverine, you knew where you were in development, regardless of whatever hell came in the future. You knew you weren't at least 3 years out. So is that Sony pushing that? Is that Marvel pushing that? Who is saying get that out there? Because does Wolverine really need 3 years of anticipation? It actually becomes exhausting.
Yeah.
If they were like, hey, when did they announce it? In the summer? Did they officially show it in the summer? Right?
Yeah.
So even that's maybe pushing it a little bit. I think you could have probably announced it maybe somewhere right in this time, even the early spring, and then, okay, it comes out this November.
Yeah, if you showed us that trailer they just released now,
oh yeah,
blown up. But it's funny you bring up GTA, because there are rumors that they're planning on releasing the digital version first and then physical to avoid like all the bullshit. So
what are you talking about?
Like, by that I mean the show me now part of this topic is human beings are the worst, and physical copies get to physical locations first. And if a piece of shit got a copy of GTA 6 early, they're gonna put out any and all news that they can, because all the focus is going to be on them. So
you already know, working at the stop, I can't tell you how many people came and said, I'll give you $100 right now, dude. Like a week early, because you get them a week early. You know, there's a lot of times to go, give you $100 right now.
$100 to lose my job? Are you stupid or dumb?
but just to go along with what Vaughn's saying,
yeah.
Like there's most certainly somebody that would say yes, give me that $100, and fucking, you know, I've seen people put up crazier numbers than that, where it's like, you know, just fucking hand walk out to me, don't leave it in the bushes in the back. It's like, fucking give you $300. Like, god damn.
And that GTA thing's slightly off topic, but kind of related. I heard it on another podcast about them talking about it. So it was just interesting to hear about that and then relate it to this topic, because I can't fault them for wanting to do that to avoid revealing too much for the people that don't buy physical, because we are moving to a more digital landscape. So like, it's almost smart for them to do that. I know it's kind of dividing the physical versus digital crowd, and I know the physical crowd is going to be shitting their pants if that is true, but like, are you going to be more upset about waiting a day, maybe 2 days max, to get your physical copy, or enjoying a game fresh without having some a-hole spoil the story and reveal the final ending cutscene for a game that's been in development for years, a toddler's lifespan?
Yeah, since Charlie was born.
Right. I think like, along with what you guys are saying, like the essentially saying, like, announcing it too early. I think that initial rush of dopamine from finding out about these projects can't be replicated. And I think that's part of like what you guys are, talking about. It's like, I was chuckling earlier because I was watching Vaughn try to find something nice to say about Bethesda.
God, it was rough.
I could see that. I could see it. He's like,
pull it out of my fucking soul.
They don't suck too much, but
you're not taking my Bethesda hater certificate.
No, I'll help Vaughn out. Bethesda can do that because every Bethesda game is the same game, possibly shittier than the last. So they don't need show you.
I'm back.
They don't need to show you any of the mechanics, because you know all the mechanics because they've been the same mechanics for 20 years. But
taking Todd Howard's leather jacket. Fuck him. He doesn't deserve it.
But that initial rush of dopamine can't be replicated. So something like Watch Dogs, it's like, I'm excited to see that game, but now that I've seen it, if you wait 3 years and then go, it's coming out, I like you said, I do not care as much as I did when I first saw it. And I can't possibly, it's human nature. It's anything. Like, shit, people get tired of seeing their wives. Like first time you saw her, you're like, it's the most beautiful woman alive. And 20 years later, I'm like, hey, honey. It's one of those things where it's like, you show me a game and then you're like, yeah, it's coming out 4 years from now. It's like, once you, now that, so like that title, like, let's say Elder Scrolls 6. It's like, now that the concept of Elder Scrolls 6 is in my head, I have a logo. And I'm not saying we have all this. I'm just saying, like, now that I have a logo in my head and I have a perception of like its existence, now when I'm shown it again, it does not have a similar impact the second time. Yeah. It can't. It literally can't. That's not how our brains work. That's not how we're designed. And I do feel like that is poor marketing when they do that, just because it not only does it take away from the hype of your game and the anticipation, but it takes, that part of that anticipation is not just on a monetary scale. Like, you took that away from me. Like, you took away my ability to be excited and then interact with your project with the same excitement that I had when I saw it. And I feel like that takes away from the overall experience of experiencing your game for the first time.
So it's like that Lord of the Rings game. Why are you guys even talking about that? That game isn't coming out until at a minimum 2030. That's like, why would you even
what Lord of the Rings game?
Yeah, dude, literally, it's just, and then stuff will constantly pop up, and this person joined the project, this person joined. It's like,
yeah,
dude,
the small leaks, the LinkedIn profiles getting updated. It's like, I guess that's still a thing. I forgot about it.
It's literally torment, especially for me, just because like my feed has like Lord of the Rings stuff constantly. So no matter what, it's just going to pop up for me.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh god. Which, I mean, the things that are being said about it are good, but it's just, dude, I'm gonna be probably in the dirt by the time it comes out. So why are you telling me? It's just making me painfully aware of my mortality.
All right. Off the top of your head, can anybody remember the essentially the time frame from the original Elden Ring trailer till the release, because in my like that is still in my mind.
2018.
Well, how
It's
like
2022.
no, when the initial trailer dropped.
2018. It was right after Sekiro came out, I'm pretty sure.
Did it? I doubt you can even imagine it trailer.
Yeah, dude, that is a
That's my
10,
point. It's like
10 out of
maybe
10.
it's because that's like specifically
Elden Ring's
my
different. That's the thing, is not
right.
everybody can do this. You know,
Right.
I mean,
And that's like in my mind, I felt like the time frame was so much shorter.
did I nail that time frame?
Oh, I thought you confirmed it.
Oh, okay. No, I saw you nod along.
Oh, so you guys are just giving me fake news. Unbelievable. Because yeah, I felt like the time frame was way shorter, and I just remember it's like I doubt you could even imagine it. And it's like, dude, I was just as hyped when that trailer dropped as I was when I was playing the game. And you are right; that is a special case. There are some games that are outliers in that sense, but that just demonstrates like
yeah. First teaser trailer was 2019. First gameplay was 2021, and then the release was 2022.
Okay.
But even that, you released a reveal and shut up.
Yeah.
And especially with that one, it's an incredible trailer, and we're doing something completely new. You have the pedigree, and you have George R.R. Martin tied to it. That has a level of hype that is different than just like it's Watch Dogs. It's like I don't care about most of you. You're setting up, you're advertising this Miyazaki cross George R.R. Martin. And then you did what you were supposed to and just went quiet until there was something to show. And then you went quiet again, and the next time you showed up was a demo for people to play, and then it came out. Perfection.
Yeah, so
if it's going to be dragged out, yeah.
So I think timeline for me plays a big part in this,
Huge,
but
huge. Yeah.
all your points also make sense in retrospect to my rebuttal.
Yeah, if it didn't come off clear, if it is going to have to be dragged out, like stockholders or the publishers, like you have to reveal it now, do it the way Elden Ring was doing it. And if you have control over it, do it the way Fallout 4 did it. That's like, I think those are the two best worlds you could possibly live in.
And if you don't have the pedigree of those, like small, tiny teaser trailers are fine. Like you don't have to go full in-depth 30, 40 minutes of gameplay. Just tease it.
I'm glad you said that, actually, because I think what Control is doing is sick.
Yeah.
I love the way that they're almost doing
they're like training videos almost.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
It's not showing gameplay or nothing. It's just like FBC warning, don't eat the mold. Resist the urge to eat the mold, or whatever you do, don't talk.
Right. Like, okay.
The vibrations of your voice could rip a new universe in front of you. Like,
yeah, it's teasing the new game, and it's playing off of people that have played the original and getting the teaser for it. So,
and even the like what they're showing, like they're showing me gameplay, small portions of gameplay, but they're not forcing, like they're not breaking down the nitty gritty of the mechanics to me. I can still speculate on what's happening internally in the game mechanically. Like I'm seeing what they're doing, but I don't know how those, like obviously, probably some, square, triangle type of thing. But it's like there could be mechanics within that I'm not hip to.
Yeah,
that are at play.
It's only been gameplay from that trailer too, so you're not showing me anything that you haven't already shown.
Correct.
Right. I'm glad you just said that too, because that just reinforces. I don't want to see anything else. I don't want to even know if I'm swinging with square or R1, because I want to experience Remedy's first Melee game just completely. I don't even want to think about it going into it, which I'm talking real tough right now, but the minute them gameplay deep dives drop, I'm going to be side-eyeing my phone hard, but I'm trying to stay strong.
I'm here for the lore. I love those games by all means, but
I can't wait to do those.
I'm more excited for the lore videos to drop, so I can just sit there and they can explain to me, deep dives into whatever crazy shit. Like obviously I'm going to play the game, but it's like I want to sit here and have a soft-voiced British man explain to me what's actually happening.
Cool. Any other points that we want to go over?
Nope. I'm good.
No, I think I'm
Pretty
solid.
good.
Satiated.
Kind of all tied together, which was pretty cool. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was good.
Sweet. Well, as usual, check out the socials that just popped up. Go ahead and check out the link tree. Follow us on all them socials. Reminder, we started streaming on Saturdays. It's not concrete, but we're trying to make it as concrete as possible. 8:30 Eastern. We're doing our Resident Evil marathon right now. Next one up is Brandon in Resident Evil 4. Are we still doing VR?
Absolutely. I'm going to be sweaty.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm assuming you guys talked about it, but Vaughn thinks the fucking wizard thinks he figured it out. So
we tested it right when you got off.
Okay.
Yeah, we tested it. It looked great. Wow, we can talk about it off stream.
Then after that, it'll be me with 7, and then after that, it'll be Adrian with 8. So we're gonna go right up to the release of 9 if we time it correctly. But
yeah,
we got some fighting game streams that we want to do, so we're gonna show you some of those redacted rematches. And like we said last podcast, we got some Control, or not, I guess, yes, Control, but Remedy-based things, and Capcom-based things as well. So we're going to keep pushing that content into your eyeballs, whether you like it or not. Too bad.
Clockwork Orange.
Yep.
Here's a glass of milk.
Less creepy, more humor, ideally.
Don't.
Vaughn will be funny.
No pressure. Please laugh.
Have you heard of Valdo?
Have you heard of Valdo? That's just gonna be Brandon. He's just gonna sit silently.
You gonna learn.
Gonna learn today.
Stand in place.
Moonwalk.
Make an emote of you doing that.
Oh
Slightly breathing.
Oh, the breathing.
On that note, this has been Case 15. Your host, Vaughn.
Adrian.
And Brandon.
We'll catch you on the next one.
Take care, y'all.